Okay, we've had the first shock result of the 2018 World Cup in a match that just got over. Reigning champions Germany have been stunned in their campaign opener in Russia, going down 1-0 to Mexico in a thrilling contest. Ashley Westwood, what just happened?
Crazy stuff from the Germans, to be honest. I just think they thought, you know, if we go out and play our game and we attack, we've got enough on this side to win. I don't think they envisaged Mexico being as dangerous on the break. I don't think they envisaged Mexico being as tense at closing down. And they got amongst them and they really rattled them. And obviously Mexicans have got the win, and Germans will be licking their wounds in the morning, that's for sure.
Yes, and you know, I was reading Lothar Matthäus this morning. He was speaking in the Bild and he was saying that, you know, Germany have to start well, because if they don't start well, then the pressure builds. Then it's a very long wait till the next match. And, you know, that pressure can do a lot of things.
Well, it's momentum is what you need. You know, it knocks the stuffing out of you when you get a defeat. Certainly the way they got beat as well. You know, if you look at reflection of the game, the Mexicans got in 4 or 5 times. It could have been a lot worse. And now the Germans will be thinking, do we defend now or do we change our philosophy? Because we do know they like to attack. And which personnel do we pick? So it's all almost, you know, the framework, all this efficiency we talk about the Germans, they'll be going back to the drawing board in the morning. I'm
just trying to remember. For me, my first World Cup was Italia 1990. Argentina lost there. Argentina lost to Cameroon. Then you go down to 2002. Big upset, France losing to Senegal, Francis Oman being there. Then there was Papa Bouba Diop scoring that one goal in that 1-0 result. And here you have Hirving Lozano writing himself into the history books. Where does this rate in terms of opening day shocks for a World Cup?
Well, I think every tipster in the land, every football pundit was certainly tipping Germany. You know, I've listened to loads over the course of the last 2 days, and no one could have wrote this. I think Lozano was the one who were going to score. Obviously, he was the one that scored the most goals for Mexican in the qualification rounds. We know he's fast, and I think Kimmich was caught forward too many times, and they didn't really see that coming. They didn't, you know, pay any respect to Mexicans. They've got a fast left winger, but it was still all out attack, still fly the fullbacks forward, and on turnover of possession, Mexicans are really, really dangerous, and they should have got a few more.
Yes, and we were talking about it at halftime as well, that Germany were lucky to go into that break 1-0 down, because there were 2 or 3 attacks from that left flank, and just that final killer pass or a good shot at that Manuel Neuer goal could have seen Germany actually head in 2 or 3 down.
Yeah, I think the amount of 2v2s, you know, 1v1s, even 3v2s in the Mexicans' favours was unbelievable, really. I counted 6 or 7 in that game that you wouldn't expect to see that, and it was because Germany were flying the fullbacks forward, they were pushing the midfielders on, and they just didn't really pay any respect to the counter-attack. You know, Mexicans were really, really intense. They attacked with pace, and like you said, if they would have just took a little bit more care or made the right decision in the final third, they would have for sure scored some more goals.
But actually, this German team beat almost the same Mexican team 4-1 in the Confederations Cup last year. Do you think the Germans, as you said, they perhaps took it lightly? They didn't expect the Mexicans to come flying in their face, throw caution to the winds and attack Germany. I don't think we have seen the Germans attack like this. Even if you go back to the last defeat in the World Cup, which is against Spain in the 2010 semi-final, Spain basically passed the ball around them, but they didn't have anyone attack them like the way we saw today.
Yeah, I think it's more that, you know, when you set up for a football match, sometimes you set up to counteract the opposition, or if you're one of the top teams in the world, sometimes you don't worry about the opposition. It's just about us, because we're that good. If we do our thing, we're going to win the game anyway. And I think that was the mentality they had. You know, they didn't see the high press coming from Mexico. They didn't see the intensity. They kept it going for 95 minutes. No one really floundered it with their pace or their endeavour. The goalkeeper obviously pulled out a top save as well. So I think it's just one of them games where all the Mexicans across the board, the 11 players, including some of the substitutes that came on, were all like 9 out of 10. Nobody had a poor game, whereas Germany, they had some decent performances, but collectively, the Mexicans obviously shaded it.
Did we see this coming? And did we not pay too much attention, thinking that the Germans are a team who always get their act together during a big tournament, during a World Cup or a Euro? Their recent run of friendlies have not been very impressive, but perhaps we thought that they will get it all together in the World Cup.
I think with the Germans, they just have multiple scorers. You know, they don't have an out-and-out number 9, because they score goals from all over the pitch. They're so efficient. You know, the movement's normally on song. You know, Ozil's got fantastic balance, can pick a pass. All over the field, they've got top footballers that can really handle the football. So normally, it's 1 and 2 touch, crisp passing, great movements, it's all choreographed, and normally get in 9 times out of 10. But today, it just didn't happen.
When you look at Ozil, you mentioned him, so I'm going to bring him up because what this German team unsettled? There was talk that he will not play. Joachim Löw actually gave an interview to a German station saying he is not going to play. But then we saw him on the starting sheet. Each time he touched the ball, he was booed. There are issues surrounding him and Ilkay Gundogan, especially with the German fans. Do you think that unsettled them, or...?
I don't think so. I mean, Ozil's been around enough not to be fazed by that. The booing was obviously a political thing with imposing with the president and stuff of Turkey. But on the day, I thought Ozil was one of their better players. His balance, his touch, you know, his ability that he's got. You know, some of the balls that come out the air and he controls in an instant is fantastic. And the way he moves his hips and moves around and moves away from people, he's their best number 10 for me. Okay,
break this down for me because I'm trying to remember the last time a team lost their first match, went on to win a World Cup. Spain 2010 comes to your mind against the Swiss when they did that. But 4-2-3-1 was how both teams lined up. Man for man, you look at the German squad and the Mexican squad, you know that the Germans are just by far ahead. Yet, Mexico did a number of them. What do you think tactically? Was there anything, apart from it being the high press and open football, did you notice something
for
which
me,
he could have done?
Obviously, the Germans were your 4-2-3-1, which you said. Mexico, to be honest, were more like a 4-4-2, but at times they would drop one body into here. But what was happening, it'll take a lot of time to put all the Germans up the pitch, but if we get everybody up there, what you'll see is eventually the way that the problems that the Germans had. You know, they pushed all the midfielders forward into the opposite half as high as they could. The full-backs were where the problems were coming. You know, these were bombing on for fun, if you like, into these kind of positions. Kimmich, especially at times, was bombing and getting himself into really advanced positions. And it was leaving two central defenders at the back. And 9 times out of 10, because Mexicans were so quick, they would spring that up and they were getting themselves in 2v2 situations. And then some of the midfielders were outpacing each other. The left winger, for sure, had the beat. Lozano had the legs on Kimmich. And we found this position happen quite a lot. 3v2s, 2v2s, whether it was a forward out, and it ended up being like this kind of position. But you don't normally see that a lot in a German side. You know, this kind of happens once or twice a game. This was probably happening 6, 7, 8, 9 times a game, which for me, the Germans were throwing everybody forward and they just wasn't quick enough for recovering.